It's Friday, by the way, so you know what it means. Me not punching buttons in a decent order and a decent time frame. But here we go.
Come on, man. Go for it, dude.
It's Friday! Friday! Day.
It is, in fact, Friday. John, hear you there. Thanks for coming in, as you always do. Let me turn me down just a second. There we go, so I don't blow myself out in my ear. All right, so here's the rundown for today. We'll kind of catch you up on what happened yesterday, get you ready for the weekend in hour number one. There's since it is now officially the opening of the transfer window overseas, there's a lot of news and reports and thoughts and ideas, and we'll kind of blow through them. We've already reached out to our buddy Ben Jacobs overseas, and we'll see if there is a day during the month that is less hectic than the others. We'll see if we can catch Ben to discuss everything going on involving the Prem, the transfers, and anything else on his mind as he goes from wall to wall. And he's already tweeted out like 19 different things this morning in the last 20 minutes or so. So we'll go through all of that, get you ready for the weekend in the Prem, talk about what happened yesterday and the day before, set up the weekend and all the things. Now, there's that. Hour number 2 is the Power Hour because it traditionally is Thursday, but it's now on Friday today. Nino Damas joining us at 10 o'clock. And I don't know, like I said, traditionally the way that we work with Nino Torres is he sends ideas at like 9:55 Eastern. I don't look at them. I don't see them. I don't look at it. I seriously, I just, when he sends me the WhatsApp message that has all of his topics, then we find out what Nino Damas wants to break out with us here, and we'll get into that. 10:30, it's our buddy, or the last half hour, it's our buddy Niko Moreno from Sounder at Heart and Pulso Sports. We'll go over Major League Soccer. There's a big signing in Seattle. There's a departure in Seattle off the field. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Western Conference, talk about the transfers that have happened, where things sit, and we'll kind of have MLS in the last half hour of the show. We've got to talk about AFCON because they're now in the knockouts. And there is one country that didn't make the knockouts that is going to be opening kickoff, and I'm guessing that because it's opening kickoff and I just anointed it as such, that will go from that into AFCON, into the Premier League, into the weekend preview, into the Power Hour. So I think that that's probably going to be the rundown today, and we'll get you through the weekend that will be, and we'll be back at it again on Monday as normal, getting you into 2026. And Ricky, you're not wrong. It's weird having today being a Friday. It feels like a Monday, and it's weird in general because you go for 3, you're off for 1, and this is the second week in a row. You're on for 3, off for 1, back for 1, off for 2, and then you're normal. And it's just weird. It's an odd thing. So we'll kind of navigate it all together, and we'll see what's going on. I just plaster my, because if I wear a hat, this is the problem. Because as you guys always see me, the hair doesn't want to behave. So here's the issue with the hair, and I wouldn't mind wearing a hat, but the thing is, the button that kind of unifies everything. The button is always right under where the headset is. So literally you have the headset pushing on the button on the top of the trucker hat, pushing on the top of my head, and it starts to hurt after about 2 minutes. So that's the whole idea of, I probably would wear more hats, but it just hurts my head because it all presses down in the center of my head. So anyway, that's the logistics of all of that stuff. Now, opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at the Morning Espresso. And that's the Morning Espresso is kind of like our lead in to our day. and then into the rest of the day, where Jason kind of looks at things and he has a couple of topics off the top that he'll sit there and he'll go a little deeper into, go into the news of the day, kind of what you missed yesterday. And that leads us into here where we go into deeper dives and such, and we kind of work our way through the day. So it's brought to us by our friends at the Morning Espresso. Can't thank our friends at Oglethorpe University enough for being the sponsor for that. And you can watch it, you can listen to it, you can subscribe to the newsletter, you can get all three. And you can go to soccerdownhere.net and you can follow how to get the gear. You can follow how to subscribe to Morning Espresso, and you can start your day there. So you can subscribe to the newsletter and then set your notifications for the 280 character app and for the YouTubes and for audio and however you wish to consume said Morning Espresso. So that is the opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Morning Espresso and our friends at Oglethorpe University. Okay. I said that it was going to be a way to get into our AFCON coverage today. And so it's, this is what happens when you don't win and you don't advance into the knockout stage. So I don't know if you saw this, but Gabon did not make it into the knockouts. Like I said, we'll get into the grid. We'll get into your juice boxes after opening kickoff. So Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has been banned by the Gabon national team after their exit in AFCON. They were eliminated from the group stage, arguably their worst AFCON outing in history. And so Gabon's Minister of Sport announces the suspensions of the national team. Basically, it's like, y'all, no, not no more. So, quoting acting sports minister Simplice Desire Mambula, quote, given the Panthers' disgraceful performance at the Africa Cup of Nations, the government has decided to dissolve the coaching staff, suspend the national team until further notice, and exclude players Bruno Ekwele Manga and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So your lead veteran and your team captain are now excluded until further notice. And Aubameyang's 37, so I would not anticipate him having a whole lot more AFCONs in his system. But so the government, and this was the key after the opening comma, the government has decided to dissolve the coaching staff and suspend the national team until further notice and exclude players Bruno Ekwele Manga and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Manga, by the way, Ekwele Manga is a center back at Cardiff currently, and they are the only two. You're excluded. You're no longer allowed to represent the national team. And by the way, if you hear sawing and drilling and things going on in the background, we're getting a new garage door. It tells you the proximity of the studio to the garage. So if you hear any grinding in the background this morning, that's what's going on. So Gabon, coached by their former defender, Thierry Muyuma, 1-0 defeat to Cameroon. Then the crazy one with Mozambique. And then they're 0-2. Gabon president Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema publicly criticizes the team after the loss to Mozambique. Claims the loss showed, quote, the lack of method and the dispersion of resources, as well as a worrying erosion of patriotic spirit and the management of sporting affairs, end quote. That's a lot of word salad. That's a lot of stuff. Lack of method and dispersion of resources, as well as worrying erosion of patriotic spirit. So you ain't got it for your country anymore. The worrying erosion. I wonder how long it took them to come up with this batch of word salad. Worrying erosion of patriotic spirit and the management of sporting affairs. You ain't got enough country in you, I think is basically what President Nguema was saying at the time. So they were eliminated from the tournament going into that third game against the Ivory Coast. They were up 2-0. Kanga and Bouanga scoring. Then they fall apart defensively, give up 3 in a rotated side for the Ivory Coast. 2 come within less than 10 minutes remaining in the match. Then it was TSG Hoffenheim's 19-year-old winger Bazumana Torres gets goal number 3. And so You go in, you're 0-2. You go into the third one. You're up 2-0. A 19-year-old on a rotated side scores against you to make it 3-2, and your tournament's over. Neither Aubameyang nor Manga played on Wednesday. It was the 36-year-old striker returned to Marseille to begin treatment on a thigh injury. Arrived late in Morocco because of the thigh strain. On Wednesday, he responded to the 280-character app response, which accused him of being a problem on the team. Quote, I think the team's problems are far deeper than the small person that I am. And the character, the raised, the shoulder shrug emoji. So, Manga 37, Aubameyang's 36. Made his debut for the national team in 19, went on to feature 83 times. Manga played 150 matches for Cardiff. Finishes his and the way that this is written by our friends at Talk, he finishes his international career with 105 appearances and 9 goals. Since your government has excluded you, we're saying that you're done in our copy too. So that's kind of where. So the government basically took the 37-year-old captain and the 36-year-old star and banned them from any future international competitions representing your country. The statement that came out from the Gabonese government does not mention the duration of the suspension or how and when or how a new team will be formed. And we've reached out to Gary Al Smith, by the way, to see if we can kind of get the lowdown from Gary about everything going on over there. But, yeah, when was the last time that you had a government basically sit there and dissolve a squad? A government dissolves a squad. We weren't happy with you, so, you're done. You're out. The two big stars, Manga and Aubameyang, you're out. We're dissolving the team, and we're coming up with a new coach, but, yeah, all year done. You go 0-3 in the tournament, and that gets us nothing. So you're out the door. The government does this. Like I said, I can't remember. Usually it's a sporting agency or something like that, but the government were the ones that did it this morning. So the government and the Gabonese. So, yes, Gabon is not in the knockouts in AFCON. And morning, D. Graham, morning, Ricky, morning, Alex, and morning, David. So, yeah, it was just strange to see how it was phrased that the government has basically said, nah, you're done. So that gets us into the rundown of AFCON coming into the knockouts for the weekend and starting that process. And so you look at the juice boxes that are attached, and they've also come out with the best 11 of the group stage. So the match day pack for tomorrow, which is Senegal, Sudan, and Mali and Tunisia, that is going on tomorrow bright and early. We'll go over the times in a bit. Senegal group winners unbeaten in Group D, facing Group E number 3, Sudan, in the round of 16. First meeting between the two sides at AFCON 7 times previously. Senegal undefeated, obviously, 4 wins and 3 draws. 4 of those 7 taking place in 2025. This is their 5th encounter in under a year. Senegal have outscored Sudan 8-1 in their previous 7. Conceded just 1 goal, came in the 1-1 draw in the third-place playoff back in August. Teams also met in the group stage of that tournament, goalless draw. Drawn together for the World Cup qualifiers. First meeting with Sudan back in March, goalless draw. Return match in September. Senegal wins 2-0. Kalidou Koulibaly and Pape Matar Sarr. They will not have Koulibaly for this match, considering that Koulibaly got the red card last time out. Senegal qualified for the World Cup as group winners, ahead of Sudan, who finished 3rd in Group B behind DR Congo. Paired together in the 2019 AFCON qualifiers. Senegal have never lost to East African opponents at AFCON. 5 matches, winning 4, drawing 1. 4th East African team Senegal's faced in the tournament: Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda. Previous AFCON group stage meetings: blowout in 65, shutout in 92, 2004, 2019. Only failure to win came in a goalless draw in Kenya in 1990. 6 AFCON matches against East African opposition. Senegal scored 15, conceded just 1, 5 clean sheets. So previous head-to-head, the head-to-head overall is a goal difference of +7. So that's what you're looking at in this particular matchup with Senegal. Your match official, Senegal and Sudan, Dahani Beta will be the man in the middle. Gerson Emiliano dos Santos, Ivanildo Moreyes de Sanchez Lopez are your ARs. Your fourth is Clement Franklin Capan. Your VAR is Lalu Benbraham. You have two AVARs, by the way, Dickens Mimisa Nagroya and Babacar Saw, and you have a referee assessor. Mali and Tunisia is after that. Group A runners-up Mali face Group C runners-up Tunisia. 16th meeting between the two. Tunisia's won 7 of the previous 15, Mali 5 and 3 draws. Teams have met 4 times previously at AFCON, Mali remaining unbeaten, 2 wins and 2 draws. First knockout stage meeting in the meeting of 4th successive AFCON tournament, facing each other 19, 21, and 23 after the first meeting at the finals in 94. Mali defeated Tunisia 2-0 in their opening match of 94 AFCON, proceeding to the knockouts alongside DR Congo. Mali have scored in all 4 of their AFCON meetings with Tunisia, kept clean sheets 2-0, 1-0, 94, and 2021. Mali have scored first in all 4 AFCON meetings. 3 of Mali's 5 AFCON goals against Tunisia have come in the first half. 4 of the 7 total goals scored in AFCON meetings between the sides have come in the first half. So expect first half fireworks with these two teams. So we'll get into your juice boxes in a bit. Best 11 of the group stage, that was released as well. Familiar names across the board. Mohamed El Shanawi from Egypt in between the sticks. Defenders, Mazraoui from Morocco, Axel Twanzebe from DR Congo, Tapsoba from Burkina Faso, Yahya Atiat Allah El Abdi from Morocco. So that's your back 4. Your midfield, Brahim Diaz, Carlos Baleba from Cameroon, and Ademola Lookman from Nigeria. And then your forwards, Riyad Mahrez, Amad Diallo from Ivory Coast, and Sadio Mane from Senegal. No real surprises in all of this. Your coach of your best 11 coach of the group stage goes to Eric Shell of Nigeria. And solid defensive setup, quick transitions, and giving attacking players the freedom to express themselves is the write-up on that. So that's your 11 of the group stage plus your coach of the group stage as well. Now let's get you into the juice boxes for AFCON, and we will let you know what's going on. And let's see. So juice boxes. Do I have juice boxes set up? No, I didn't. That was one of the tabs that I did not have popped open this morning because we get into transfers and such. AFCON, just so you got it. Senegal and Sudan at 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, local time. Senegal, big favorite, no surprise, a -625. Sudan for the win is a +2088. A 2088 in Sudan. Mali and Tunisia slated for 2 o'clock Eastern time. Mali is an underdog slide at a +189 in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. Draws a +173. Tunisia is a +175. Now, the Sudanese, I found it interesting, and I think this was the first time as a part of everything that has gone on in this tournament. We were this close to having someone make it to the group stage without actually scoring a goal. You got really close to that. And so you end up with, of the third place teams, you had 2 teams who scored goals late. Benin and Sudan. Sudan had gone through their first 2, and then they got in their win over Equatorial Guinea was when they got a goal. And Benin got theirs against Botswana. So they took care of business when they needed to get the wins to get the 3 points. But it is rare that you have in a tournament teams make it to the knockout stage without having scored a goal. Comoros did not score a goal, and they were close. They were 6th of the third place teams. So if they had gotten another point in there somewhere, like in their first matchup, they would have gotten another draw. They would have gotten 3 points. Goalless draw, say, instead of a loss. They would have made it to the knockouts without having scored a goal. But you have 2 teams that scored 1 goal getting into the knockouts, and that's where we are with AFCON. So at 11 and 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and then on Sunday, Morocco and Tanzania. No surprise, Morocco's a big favorite at a minus 714. Tanzania is a plus 1925. South Africa and Cameroon. South Africa plus 221. The draw is a plus 191. Cameroon is a plus 141. So how can you watch AFCON? You can do that at Fanatis. FNTZ.co/soccer down here. You can go there to subscribe. That link helps them, helps us, and helps you, putting even more matches in one place alongside everything you already watch. It's Fanatis. You get BN, home of AFCON, along with TAC, matches from Argentina, more leagues from across South America, all in one place. One subscription, one home. Fanatis, FNTZ.co/soccer down here. So that is your plug for AFCON. When we get into what to watch, where to watch it, and how to watch it later, we'll get into all the other things that you can watch this weekend. Obviously, very, very busy times. So that's your AFCON rundown, your AFCON update, and that will get you all laid out and squared away for everything that is going on over there. Okay, Premier League. Let's get you into that and to transfers and all the things before we get into hour number 2 and find out what's on the minds of Nino Torres and Niko Moreno. So, Enzo Maresca out at Chelsea. And it looks like Liam Rossignol, who is a part of the chain in Bully Clear Lake, looks like he right now is the number 1 that is on the board. And it's no surprise that Rossignol would be the one of the guys that they would be thinking about, because once again, you're in the chain. Are you doing well enough? Are they going to view you as financially viable? That third option that's there. They wouldn't have to break the bank to bring Liam Rossignol over from Strasbourg to be a part of Chelsea going forward. So you keep an eye on that. And it looks like Rossignol has refused to rule out leaving Strasbourg among links with Chelsea. Quote, "There's a lot of noise, a lot of speculation, but as a coach, if you get involved, you fail. My job is here. I love this club. I didn't talk to the players about it. No need. They're online, and I had a few jokes, but we're focused on work. The goal is to continue creating great things here. In life, there are zero guarantees. You never know what tomorrow will bring. I'm just doing my job. There's already been speculation. I don't want to guarantee how long I'll be here, but I enjoy myself here every day. I intend to continue doing so as long as I'm here. I love this club, but I can't guarantee anything. Nobody can." So Liam Rossignol right now, looking like he is one of the top names that would be part of the new Chelsea managerial situation. Right now, obviously going into the weekend, it's going to be Callum McFarlane who is going to be in charge. And he's met with the leadership team. He says he spoke to directors and owners, really supportive, giving us everything we need to be successful, fully on board. We're all in this together. And so when McFarlane was asked about it being put in charge for Manchester City, he goes, "It's been a crazy 24 hours, a whirlwind, but also really enjoyable, and I'm really excited. I can only feel positive about it. It's been an amazing experience." Worked at Manchester City with Maresca, and he would fit in with that system. So that is part of the thoughts about having your interim stay as your number 1. So nothing like chaos at Chelsea. I don't think they would have it any other way. But the published reports overseas with all of the pundits are basically saying with Enzo Maresca, when he was kicking the tires on other gigs, including Manchester City, front office didn't take too kindly to that. And the public mentions of not getting support, that really didn't go well either. Not necessarily financial support, but just the idea of, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do this. And so they part company after 18 months. And apparently, once again, he had also spoken to Juventus in addition to Manchester City. As a part of his contract, according to the Telegraph, Maresca obliged to tell the club he held talks with representatives of City and Juve in October and December. Sources for the Telegraph and Matt Law even claimed that Chelsea were informed Maresca would stop talks with other clubs if he was handed a new improved contract but the club rejected the proposal out of hand. Porto head coach Francesco Farioli is another name could be considered, although it would cost in the neighborhood of £13 million to buy out his deal. Chelsea are not expected, according to a lot, to chase after someone like a Zinedine Zidane or a Jurgen Klopp. He had been contracted to Chelsea through 29, or until 29, option of a further year. And obviously the club is not expected to face a huge compensation bill given the circumstances of his departure. McFarland, for those of you that don't know, currently coaches the U21s. Willie Caballero completed the Italian media duties for him after the draw with Bournemouth because, remember, Maresca had said that, the public disclosure was that he was feeling unwell. And, of course, since then, that it has been disputed amongst the counterclaims that he didn't want to face the media. So his record, 55, 16, and 21 in 92 matches, scored about 2 goals a match, gave up a little over 1 goal a match, 60% winning percentage. First raised question marks over his position following the victory over Everton, claiming he experienced the, quote, worst 48 hours of his career at Chelsea and saying he had not felt supported. Puzzled board members and staff who were left in the dark as to what he really meant. Sources now believe Maresca was making reference to Chelsea's medical department and the availability of players, which is said to have been a source of conflict in the background. Reece James finally back to full health. Cole Palmer's just come back with a groin, recovering from a groin injury that he aggravated in Champions League. Benoit Badiashile setbacks during his recovery. 2 trophies, Club World Cup and Europa Conference League. Plan had been for a review of the position at the end of the year. But matters have come to a head during what some folks describe as a 2-week unraveling, during which Chelsea won 1 of their last 7. Dropped 15 points from winning positions during the first half of the league year, contributed to the team slumping to 5th in the table at 30 points. 3 draws in their last 5, 1 win, 1 loss. 8, 6, and 5 after the halfway point of the season. Unsustainable within the club. Decision had to be made. Once again, linking with the City Post shortly after making the post-Everton remarks. Guardiola talked up Maresca as one of the best coaches in the world. And Chelsea confirmed Maresca's departure in a statement that was about 2 sentences long. So you have the head coach of the U21s in the interim, and it looks like Liam Rossignol from Strasbourg would be your number 1 with a bullet to be the guy who would be the one to take over after this particular weekend, after this weekend's matches. That's the way it's looking right now. Thomas Frank was booed again in a goalless draw with Brentford. G-Tech's always a tremendously tough place to play. But Thomas Frank was booed and called boring. So there's all of that. There's a lot of transfer news this morning. We'll get into that in a second. Juice boxes, and we'll go over the results from the weekend, get into your juice boxes here as well. So the results from the last 2 days to catch you all up on everything. Yesterday, goalless draw, Brentford, Spurs, same Sunderland and Manchester City at a plus 380. Sunderland's 7th place right now. A lot of folks are talking about Granit Xhaka. They ought to talk about the defense that Sunderland has been presenting to the Premier League in their first year back. Crystal Palace, Fulham, a 1-1 draw. Kearney with the big strike for Fulham and your goal for Fulham to make it a 1-1 draw. Liverpool and Leeds, a goalless draw there. And folks are gripping once again. Daniel Farke, though, is not. You go to Anfield and you come out of there with a goalless draw, defend for your life over the last 10 minutes. So you end up with 4 draws on New Year's Day, plus 239, plus 380, plus 224, plus 351. So that's what you ended up with your 4 matches on New Year's Day. So now you're at the halfway point of the season. Adjust your fantasy teams appropriately. Arsenal 4 points clear of Manchester City. Villa, after losing last time out, they're at 39 points. That's your league group. A lot of folks are counting out Aston Villa. Do so at your own peril. And yes, I will continue to say that I had Unai Emery misjudged from his time coming from Spain to be at Arsenal. He wasn't getting the resources that he wanted, and he did the best that he could. Then he comes back, and he's got Villa, and he can kind of mold that into his own ideas. He's doing far better there, as you can see. So that's your league group. The group that is chasing We'll start at 33 points. Why not? Because there's a lot. There's between that and 15th. It's crazy. So 4th is Liverpool at 33 points. Manchester United and Chelsea are both at 30. Chelsea has a far superior goal difference. They're at 30 points, plus 11 to plus 4. Then if you look at 5 through 14, 10 teams are separated by 5 points. Reminds me of the championship, frankly. Chelsea, Manchester United at 30. Sunderland, who've drawn 3 in a row, are at 29. Everton's at 28. Brentford unbeaten in their last 4 at 27, ahead of Crystal Palace on goal difference, who snapped a 3-game losing streak last time out with the draw the other day. Fulham is also at 27 points. They're unbeaten in their last 4. Spurs at 26, ahead of Newcastle on goal difference. Brighton's at 25. They're either drawing or losing these days. They've drawn 3 of their last 5. Literally, it is draw, loss, draw, loss, draw. Bournemouth at 23 points. Leeds at 21. Leeds is unbeaten in their last 5. I mean, it's only 1 win in their last 5, but they're unbeaten in their last 5. Nottingham Forest, by the way, has lost 4 of 5. They're at 18 points. Sean Dyche, whatever new coach bump was there, ain't there no more. So West Ham is at 14 points. Got a point last time out. Festive fixtures will do that. And they're still talking about sacking Nino. Burnley at 12 points, 6 points from safety. And then Wolves, who picked up their 3rd point of the year in a draw with Manchester United. That scream you heard was Drew Dickinson. 1-1 draw. 3rd point of the year. No wins in the first half of the season for Wolves. 3 draws, 16 losses. They've scored 11 goals in 19 matches. They've given up 40. So that's where Wolves are. Still on track to have the worst season in the history of the Premier League if this keeps up. So for the weekend, it's 4 matches tomorrow, 6 on Sunday. And then they're back at it on Tuesday and Wednesday and, Thursday. And then they're back at it some more. So once again, fix your fantasy teams appropriately. Villa, favored at home against Forest at a minus 127, 7:30. They're the early game. Brighton and Burnley. Brighton favored at home big at a minus 213. Burnley, by the way, is a plus 554. Wolves and West Ham. This has relegation 6-pointer all over it. Why do I think that this is going to be a draw to plus 236? Wolves a plus 150, favored at home at the Molineux. They haven't won at all this year, and they're favored at home. West Ham's a plus 183. Bournemouth and Arsenal at the Vitality. Arsenal favored at a minus 213. Bournemouth a plus 507 at home. 6 on Sunday. Leeds at Ellen Road hosting Manchester United. Slight underdog at a plus 168. Manchester United a plus 156. Everton at home to Brentford at Bramley Moore Dock, a plus 140. Brentford a plus 211 on the road. Also at 10, Fulham and Liverpool. Liverpool a minus 106 at Craven Cottage. Fulham a plus 272. Newcastle favored at home to Crystal Palace at a minus 147. Crystal Palace a plus 384. Spurs and Sunderland. Spurs a minus 125 hosting Sunderland at a plus 338. Your draws a plus 270. Late game on Sunday. Manchester City, Chelsea. Manchester City a minus 159. Chelsea's a plus 355, and your draw's about the same. So that's where we are in the Premier League. So let's get you into gossip, rumor, and innuendo as we have it. Wow. Man. When folks are drilling and when they are doing circular saws, you start to smelling that burn coming from the garage. I hope they're not burning the garage down. Just fix the garage door. It's a 30-year-old garage door. I think it's been here since the beginning of Office HD and beyond. Since the house was built, I think that is the only garage door that this place has had. And, when it starts to get moody on the electrics and you're going, be pushing things up and down and it doesn't want to cooperate. That's why the boss was like, we need a new garage door. But, man, they are really drilling down into something this morning. You can smell burn all the way in here. Ow. So, if you see my face kind of respond oddly, that's why, because you got a lot of burn going on. Okay. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Bunch of different places. We'll focus on what we've got, and then we'll let you know what our buddy Ben Jacobs has come up with this morning. And he has come up with a lot this morning. And there's some other interesting things that are going on. Rodrigo, Real Madrid wants to leave this winter, according to Diario Sport. Begun talks with 2 top agents. Manchester City and Arsenal, most likely destinations. Liverpool wants to look for a long-term replacement for Mo Salah. Liverpool closing in on a deal for Club Brugge defender Joel Ordóñez for £43 million, reportedly agreed, and they expect to complete the signing in a matter of days. Premier League side, meaning Liverpool, also exploring a potential approach for Dortmund winger Karim Adeyemi. Multiple clubs in Italy are tracking Federico Chiesa from Liverpool. Calcio Mercato says Inter Milan is one of the clubs interested. Gattuso is hopeful of having him earn more regular minutes ahead of the World Cup playoff semis against Northern Ireland. Juve and Atalanta also are kicking the tires, apparently. Efforts to sign Bayern defender Kim Min-jae stepped up by AC Milan, according to Gazzetta dello Sport. 29-year-old ID'd as one of the top names on their short list. Negotiations set to continue with both clubs. Rossoneri could also struggle to meet his €12 million salary in full. Real Madrid's strategy of patience with Niko Paz has been rewarded, according to Marca. Madrid seriously considered bringing Paz back to the Bernabeu last year, opted to continue his development at Como with a clear plan to re-sign him in 2026. Vinicius Jr. and Real Madrid still negotiating over a new deal. United and Spurs are dueling over RB Leipzig winger Jan Diomande. Spurs have moved ahead of Arsenal and Manchester United in the race for Bayern Munich's midfielder Leon Goretzka, according to Caught Offside. Jacob Steinberg says Chelsea winger Raheem Sterling unlikely to consider a move to West Ham. I wouldn't. Three-letter paper says Kobe Mainoo's determined to stay at Manchester United. Abola is saying that Sporting are in advanced talks to sign West Ham's Louis Guilherme in a €17 million deal. Manchester City defender Jemai Simpson-Pusey attracting interest from Strasbourg, Köln, and clubs in the Championship, set to be recalled from his current loan at Celtic, according to the Daily Telegraph. Spurs Israeli winger Manor Solomon has arrived in Florence ahead of completing his loan move to Fiorentina. Uncertainty growing around the future of Napoli winger Noah Lang, who's caught the attention of Galatasaray. United had no plans to recall Harry Amas from his loan spell at Sheffield Wednesday. That's from the three-letter paper. Lazio have joined Roma in the race to sign Atleti forward Giacomo Raspadori. That's from Corriere dello Sport. A move for Toulouse defender Charlie Cresswell is being considered by West Ham. Lazio looking at Mikel Oyarzabal, according to Nicola Schira from Real Sociedad. Roma interested in Joshua Zirkzee from Tuttosport. Fiorentina Valencia interested in Flamengo right back Emerson Royal. That's from Ephraim Konur. Palace Sunderland Fulham keen on Paris winger Ilan Kebal. That's from Football Insider. Keep an eye on the Paris FC PSG Coupe de France match coming up. Toulouse defender Diane Metali is on the radar of Newcastle, four-letter paper. Palmeiras interested in Orlando City midfielder Martin Ojeda as a potential replacement in January, and that is from TNT in Brazil. So that was interesting to see that. Bournemouth, obviously, they got a lot of stuff they got to think about. Unai Emery has had his Friday press opportunity. He's outlined how demanding he is of the hierarchy as the club looked to navigate PSR and bring in new players. They completed the signing of 19-year-old winger Allison from Gremio in a deal worth up to £10 million. First team signings unlikely unless players are sold. Villa boss has also confirmed the club will look to cut Harvey Elliott's loan move from Liverpool. Villa signed Elliott on loan with an obligation to buy if a certain amount of appearances were reached, but he hasn't featured since October the 2nd, making 5 appearances across all comps. Speaking of Harvey Elliott, by the way, Charlotte are interested in a loan move, according to Fabrizio Romano. No guarantee anything progresses, according to Ben, with doubts from sources over whether Elliott is prepared to move to Major League Soccer, one of the few leagues he's eligible to join in January, or having already played for both Liverpool and Villa. Charlotte are prepared, according to Jacobs, to do a similar deal to the one that saw Wilf Zaha join on loan from Galatasaray. if Elliott indicated he was open to Major League Soccer, and there are doubts, according to Jacobs, Villa and Liverpool would need to agree to a termination on the loan. There is no recall clause. As of January 2, Liverpool have not yet taken any steps to bring Elliott back, nor have Villa made formal contact to end the loan. Liverpool only expected to engage if Villa initiate an approach. And so Jacobs is saying to keep an eye on Harvey Elliott during the window. Brighton has brought back Pascal Gross. Pep Guardiola is committed to his Man City contract, so they're asking those questions again. It's like midweek or late week. So what are we going to ask him about? Oh, let's ask him about his contract for the 98th time. Celebrating his 10th anniversary of his appointment this year. And Gross, once again, completing the formalities of his return to Brighton from Borussia Dortmund, has undergone his medical. Ruben Amorim says there are no ongoing conversations about transfers at Manchester United. Mount, Fernandes, De Ligt, Maguire, Mainu not expected to return, and Mbeumo, Diallo, and Mazraoui are still at AFCON. Up to 8 players are expected to miss the match with Leeds. 6th in the table. Ruben Amorim was asked about it. He says the transfer window is not going to change. We have no conversation in this moment to have any change in the squad. Although we did mention Joshua Zirkzee in a move away. Prodded whether his players had come to ask him to leave, Amorim says, no, none of them. I don't expect him to come to ask me for anything. So you've got some of those movements. Arnaud Calamuendo set to join Eintracht Frankfurt on loan from Forest, according to Florian Plettenberg. Bournemouth has signed Fraser Forster to help with their keeping depth. Will Dennis was injured in training this week. And Andoni Iraola is not focused on Chelsea rumors. Didn't want to be drawn into that conversation. And so also along those lines, Iraola was asked about Antoine Semenyo, and he anticipates, obviously, that Semenyo will play for Bournemouth against Arsenal. But obviously couldn't confirm if that was going to be his last match or not for Bournemouth. Iraola said nothing is signed. Yes, Antoine is going to play in this match. And so Iraola answering the questions as you should. As far as I know, ain't nothing been signed, so he's going to play for us as long as he's playing for us and is under contract for us. Is basically it. I mean, what's the coach going to say? Yeah, we're going to hold him back. We got a deal coming. We're going to hold him back. No, you're going to say he's going to be here as long as he's going to be here, and he's going to help us out because you've got to also talk to your fans in addition to the press and prepare your club for the deal. Nicholas Füllkrug, by the way, has joined AC Milan on loan till the end of the season with an option to make the transfer permanent. 29 appearances, 3 goals since joining from Borussia Dortmund in the summer of 24. Eddie Howe, on the other hand, has said that they have to be very careful with their January signings as it will impact summer business because, once again, you've got to navigate profit and sustainability rules. So keep an eye on what Newcastle may or may not be doing. Crystal Palace must register Brennan Johnson by midday today. So basically in and around this time, if he's going to be available for the game at Newcastle. Palace are now close to completing the signing of Johnson from Spurs for £35 million. Believed to have been having a medical with Palace the last 24 hours. But if he's going to make his debut this weekend, they have to register him ahead of the midday deadline. Celtic have signed defender Julian Araujo from Bournemouth on loan to the end of the year. Available for Old Firm, which is also Saturday at Celtic Park with Rangers. Araujo has the jersey photo, and he's pointing at the camera, so it's official. Wilfred Nancy says he's a really talented player, good level of experience. We think the qualities he'll bring will be really beneficial to the squad. And so now you've got all of that going on as a part of everything. So very, very busy time in the Premier League heading into the weekend. As I sit here and try to see what else is going on. Okay, so we mentioned Harvey Elliott and lower division stuff, Callum McFarland stuff. Fraser Forster, Nicholas Fulkrug, and trying to see if there's anything else. Alex Crook says the deal for Semenyo to Manchester City pretty much done. Deals agreed in principle, and contracts are being drafted. So it should be in the next 24 hours or so. But it does not look like it's going to happen enough. There's not going to be enough movement one way or the other. So Semenyo would be a part of Manchester City this weekend. Juve has confirmed Marco Ottolini as their new sporting director, having started on New Year's Day. You mentioned Fulkrug, Semenyo, Araujo. And I think we're caught up at least right now with all the transfer stuff. And this is going to be how it probably is going to go. You're going to have a lot of dudes and a lot of talk and a lot of all of the back and forth going on. Villa on the verge of signing Allison from Gremio, according to Fabrizio Romano. Arrive on a deal worth about £10 million. Is Christopher Nkunku on the move again? Fenerbahce interested in signing him from AC Milan just 9 months after he joined from Chelsea. Liverpool set to recall 2 prospects from loan spells, James McConnell, Owen Beck. McConnell from Ajax. And Beck from the first half of the season at Derby. Fulham have rejected had a bid rejected on Ricardo Pepi. £26 million from Fulham, according to The Athletic. 10 plus 2 in all comps for PSV, 13 goals and 34 caps for the U.S. men's national team. Fulham expected to lodge another bid. Current deal runs through 2030. Juve interested in West Ham's Guido Rodriguez, according to Sky in Italy. Spalletti likes the Argentine international. We mentioned Sandro Tonali already. Spurs are looking for alternatives to Semenyo. Looks like it might be Magnus Agliush, right now, who's at Monaco. We mentioned Jan Diamande, Kenan Yildiz at Juve, and summer target Savinho. Rasmus Højlund, according to Napoli sports director Giovanni Manna, already believes himself to be a part of the club, joined on loan in the summer and joined 7 goals in 19 matches. Loan with an obligation to buy if they secure Champions League football. Club's third in Serie A and on track. Arsenal's kicking the tires on loan deals, possibly with David Bardesaghi from AC Milan. And thank you for reporting the bot, Abby. Hang on. Utilitarian anesthetist 4. That's an interesting one. Okay, so let me take care of this. So if we all block him and we all report him, how can you be a utilitarian anesthetist? That seems kind of isolationist, frankly. A utilitarian anesthetist. Or maybe you just give anesthetics to everybody? Viewer solicitation bot. If I could spell solicitation. There we go. So, yeah, a utilitarian anesthetist. That's weird. Roma's in the market for center backs. Axel Disasi from Chelsea, Dragusin from Spurs. Man City's confident of beating Man United to the signing of Elliot Anderson in 26. Forest not willing to sell at present, aware their resolve is going to be tested. So that's kind of where you're at least this go around, until more things happen and more things change. So it's all over the place this morning when it comes to your transfers. Of course, it's early in the window, and you're going, that you're going to have a lot of stuff that it's going to be thrown out there. A lot of stuff. And if the Semenyo deal goes through, Bristol City gets £11 million for it as a part of the sell-on. 3 years after he leaves. Good for Bristol City, because they'll need the money. Absolutely, they'll need the money. News in Major League Soccer. I don't know if you saw this. The Revs have reached agreements. Very, very pretty live, work, play. Looks like they have agreements with the cities of Boston and Everett, with plans to build a 24,000-seat soccer-specific stadium on the Everett waterfront. First and foremost, 24,000 is too small. I will continue to say, in this manner and this age of building stadia, soccer specific, it really is too small. You've got to be 30. You are closer to the downtown area than you are currently. And you want to build a 24,000 seat stadium on the waterfront in Everett. Boston Globe reports 3 community benefit agreements reached as required by the Massachusetts legislature to allow the Mystic River site's rezoning for non-industrial use. State and local building permits still need to be secured. Boston, the city of Boston, is going to get nearly $48 million over a 15-year period to help cover the cost of infrastructure projects in Charlestown, the neighborhood most impacted by the stadium. Everett's going to get $20 million to build and maintain the waterfront park alongside the proposed stadium, and $17.5 million to help expand infrastructure at the Somerville Orange Line stop located at Assembly. A pedestrian bridge is proposed to be built across the Mystic River to Everett. New stadium projects, by the way. Freedom Park at $25,000, Dillon Butler Estates at $25,000, set for $27,000, and Chicago Fire's new stadium at the $78,000, expected to break ground in early this year for only 22,000 seats. You're selling yourself short. You are selling yourself short. And it's disappointing as it continues to grow this way. You legitimately want to sit there and go, yeah, we'll build small. That just gets to me. It really gets to me. You need to have stadia that are 30,000. If you're in charge of your own barn and you want to go 24, when the Revs do well, people go out to Foxborough. And I understand that you're also drawing folks from Providence, but our buddy Michael Parkhurst and his crew are probably, if you're a fan of Rhode Island Football Club, you may not be going to Foxborough that much anymore. But 24,000 is too small. 25 is too small, especially for Messi and friends. 25,000 is too small if you're NYCFC. Because you're in Flushing, Queens. You're not, and this is not meant to be a slight toward Red Bulls at all. You're not in Harrison, New Jersey. As we talked with Dillon Butler back on Wednesday, you need to lay into the jersey if you're Red Bulls. And then Dillon said in return that they want to try and attract the New York audience. Let the New York audience make their own choices. Don't lay into the New York audience if you're a New Jersey club. And if you're in Queens, I know that you only have X amount of space to deal with because you jammed it into an industrial area. But, I mean, come on. Small, 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 small. Think bigger, people. I know you're thinking live, work, play. I know that you have a budget for all 3 of those elements. But 25,000 at Dillon Butler Estates in Queens is too small. 24,000 in Everett/Boston for the Revs is too small. 25,000 for Freedom Park. I know that you can only do so much because of the airport and the site that you chose, but it's still too small. Build out. Build a plaza like they've got at Jerry World. Bring more people in. You took over the golf course for a reason. You can only have your roof at a certain height. Only a certain height for that roof. Build out. Build a plaza. Get more folks in through the gates. I mean, just seriously, come on, people. You're better than that. You're absolutely better than that. Like I said, but I might be just stomping at windmills. I think you've got to be 30. I mean, I don't know if Messi and friends are sitting there and they're going, we're going to prepare for life after Messi, so we'll cap it at 25 and create supply and demand when it comes to tickets. I'm guessing. I don't know. For whomever the next one is for to replace Lionel Messi. It's frustrating. That is absolutely frustrating. Because, I mean, seriously, sorry, I was about to get on my horse again, but I was like, we'll hang on to it. But yeah, I mean, man, that's just frustrating. It's like great that you decided that you want to work your way into closer to the city, closer to the Boston area. Yeah, closer to the Boston area. Okay, cool, fine. But 24,000. Jeez. Okay, it is 10 o'clock. Power Hour begins right now. And what we do is we go to Lima, Peru, and catch up with our buddy Nino Torres. I don't know what Nino Damas has in store because last time Nino Damas, he decided he wanted to go back in time. He wanted to look at 25. I don't know. Maybe Nino Damas is going to put the big old hat on and talk about 26. I don't know. So we're going to bring Nino in. We're going to ask him what's on his mind. Yellow. What's up with you?
Yellow. Soccer Dog here, fans. Nino Damas here in a different location today. As you can see, because Nino Damas is also an entrepreneur, as you know, and we're doing a Nino the Baker show. I want to show you a little bit here because I got Angela here. Say hi. This is a cafe where Nino Damas is bringing his products for the 26. Look at that, bro. Look at that. Huh?
Oh.
Angela, say hi. Huh? Look at that, bro. So right on time, bro. Right on. I dropped the products here today. Hey, can I scoot a little bit here? I gotta do a podcast real quick, so they let me in. So we're here, brother. And sorry because I didn't send you the list. I was busy baking and doing stuff here, but I'm gonna go. Let's do this, right? You're gonna say number one. We go 4. 4 topics. You just say number one. We go for it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So number one topic, and I'm going to have Nino Damas put his big old hat on. You know how like when the fortune teller hat. Since we talked about 2025 last time out, we're going to start with 2026. This may take up most of our time anyway. What do you see as some of the bigger stories that we need to pay attention to in 26 in South America itself?
Wow. Man, big sorry, Jesus. I'm gonna go.
What about with Peru? What's going on in Peru? What do we need to know?
No, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for South America because I think this is not only because I'm on your story report to strand, but the arrival of Javier, which is the new head coach for Universitario, installed from Independiente del Valle, right? I'm gonna tell you this. I think Universitario is gonna make a deep run in the Copa Libertadores. Running the Copa Libertadores. I'm talking quarterfinals. I mean, we haven't put a team in the quarterfinals of the Copa Libertadores since 1997. 1997, when Sporting Cristal went all the way to the finals and lost to Cruzeiro. Man, so mad about that, man. We could have won that, man. We could have won that one. Jesus, Lord. But it didn't happen. But and this is not because I'm a fan, right? I know there's some bias in there, but I'm gonna say this: the arrival of Ronald, the way the direction that the club is taking to the international competition, and we haven't made any spectacular signings in terms of play, but in terms of the coach, I think it's the biggest splash in the league. And I think if we want to make a deep run. the Universitario Deportes is going to make finals for the first time for us, for Universitario since 1932, and for any Peruvian club in South America making the big splash since 1997 on Sports Result. That's I think that's going to be the story, and because Commonwealth is already looking with different eyes. You remember that when Commonwealth makes the draw for the Copa Libertadores, there's Group 1, all the champions, the biggest clubs, and all that. Number 2, number 3, number 4. You used to be number 4 in the top 4. All right, number 3. We're making progress, and I believe if Deportes makes a big splash, like I think they will, too, and then we're gonna have a more accessible groups, and it's gonna be a different story in terms of Copa.
Subtopic. Not going to number 2 yet. For someone who has not been able to see Libertadores and Sudamericana close up, they haven't been able to watch the tournament, they haven't watched it for whatever reason. What are folks missing out on by not watching Libertadores and Sudamericana?
You're not used to this. They gotta watch it, man, because when you think of Libertadores and Sudamericana, think about Ohio State, Michigan. All right, think about Yankees, Red Sox. That happens every single week in the tournament, and it's just not because we have a fierce rivalry with the name or so. No, this is for the glory, and there's clubs from Peru, from Colombia, from Chile, from Ecuador that they're eager to prove something else. All right, they're eager to prove something else, and you see fantastic games like the Liga Quito playing in Brazil. You got like this case of Cerro Largo with the guy where 2 fans only going in 400, 500 miles, traveling to the team, and the team win and dedicating the victory to these the only fans that went out there. It's pride, it's passion, it's for in the best way we can put a word. And then I don't know if the word it applies to it. It's if you ever think of a positive word, this is a positive word.
I was going to say, wars have never been positive.
Let's put it like that.
Okay. I'll take a positive war any time of the week. Topic number 2, going into 2026. From the younger talents that you got to see in 2025, who are some of those talents we need to keep an eye on as their growth curve continues in 26? Who are some of those up-and-coming players that you got to see last year that you're looking forward to seeing continue to grow this year?
Mora just got the best young player award of the year in Portugal. He already was awarded that, and I think this is the player that I'm looking forward to. I don't know how I'm going to watch him now because Gold TV is shut down, but there's always ways to see. I mean, I'm gonna, I don't know how Sport TV, which is the Portuguese network. I'm gonna see how to get the games out of these guys. But you know what? The skill that forward in young players is so how mature they are for the game. Right, you can jiggle the ball, you can do whatever you want with the ball. Anybody can do that. All right, we're not at the circus here. This is serious. And when I see a player or carriers like Esteban, Mora, Lamine Jamal, these are the chosen ones. These are the ones that are truly special because they can perform in difficult situations. That's what you're looking forward to. You don't want to see, he's got a hat-trick against a third division team. Who cares, man? I want to see how he plays against Real Madrid. I want to see how he plays in the national team. And And this is the World Cup that is coming. My God, man. My God, I'm so pumped. Man. I'm so pumped. I got a candidate in the World Cup. Also, Mr. Nelson. I want to talk about the World Cup that nobody sees this guy coming, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, a dark horse in the competition. It's coming from Europe. It's a Viking. They got a sick. How tall is he, man?
He's 6'4",
He's like a seven, right? He's
Yeah.
I don't know. He's the Yao Ming of soccer, man. That's what he is, man. He's the Yao Ming of soccer, man. That's what he is, man. I put it like that, man. A Viking speaks Chinese. But so jokes aside, this Norwegian team, this Norway team, don't be surprised if they make a big run if they make a deep run in the World Cup this year. Don't be surprised. Please don't be surprised. And they don't tell me that. Yeah, you didn't tell me. I did. They tell you that. January, what is it? January 2nd. Man. Woo.
Mm-hmm. That's why we have Nino Damas come in. We sit there with the cards. He has these ideas that they're right there. Oh, what's in the coffee, by the way?
Oh man, the coffee is so good, man. It's so good, fresh coffee. So good.
At the end of your segment this morning, I want you to take us outside and show us the entrepreneurial side, show us how busy things are. At the end of the segment,
You say it, sir? No problem.
and take us outside and show us what's going on this morning. Okay, so then you mentioned all these young dudes. Is there anybody that has stayed too long at the dance? Is there anybody that really has really been needed to kind of retire a year or so ago that maybe this is it for them?
I got a name, brother. This is ridiculous, man. I probably a story, but you know this guy, maybe Roque Santa Cruz.
I know
Roque Santa Cruz. Yeah, the Paraguayan striker. He turned 44. 44.
Wow.
He just signed a 1-year deal with Nacional from Paraguay, one of his clubs in Paraguay. He's going to play another season at the age of 44. 44 years. 44. How is this possible, man? And I look at the picture and then, yeah, welcome, Rocky. And like, he got more gray hair than I do, man. You know, it's not good. When somebody has more gray hair than Nino and still playing, I really got a problem. And that's we'll go over this next week. There's a bunch of 40-year-old players. I'm gonna make a list. I'm gonna bring it to you. And the number of 40 years old players. Oh, that's your buddy too. You know, Mr. Cristiano. He's also 41.
Yeah, whatever. CR41. Yeah, we know about him. So let's see. Last season, Roque Santa Cruz played in 32 matches, all comps, had 4 goals. At the age of 43,
Yeah.
still scored in the Apertura and the Clausura, and did not score in Libertadores. 24, he had 6 goals in 24. He had 3 goals in 23. So, I mean, he's consistent in his production. His last double-digit goal scoring season, 22, where he had 14 goals in his play for Libertad, Ascension. So, crazy that he's still cranking it out at 44. I mean, hey,
you gotta let it go, but you gotta let it go, man. I mean, he should retire singles in that season. I was like, all right, this is my last dance. Thank you so much for everything in soccer. Because after that, no, man. MJ played for the Wizards, so no, no.
Oh, no.
You know, that I like that, you know. But when they have to let it go. They have to let it go.
You were not the only one. Okay, so we talked about players. You mentioned a team that's on the rise. Are there any teams that you sit there in addition to those that we have to keep an eye out for in competitions in 26? Who are those up and coming teams that we need to keep an eye on? And then I'll go to the flip side after this and ask if there's a team that really is going to be going after this.
I want to start with the one that is going in.
Mhm.
This is crazy, right? But I want to say it. Should I say it? Should I? Go on, drop it. Drop the bomb, I think the replay could be relegated this year.
Wow.
I think replay could be if they don't get relegated, they'd be so close to it. This is how I see the immediate future for replay. Things are going south in any possible way. Gallardo lost his touch. They did 60 million, and they're not getting anything. They're gonna play anime. Replay is gonna play Sudamericana. They're not gonna play in the Libertadores. They don't have a playmaker. They don't have a striker that I mean, it's amazing how the absence of Masantuono made such a deep impact on the game, on the team for Gallardo. I mean, he replaced a 17-year-old man. Are you kidding me? There's nobody could replace Masantuono. Nobody replayed, and things. I mean, they out of the Copa. They lost everything. They didn't win anything this year, Johnny. Nothing. I mean, we spent 60 million. We're not talking about this is big money. This is big money that we're talking. Second year, so in his third year, he might be. This is a guy that doesn't quit, right? But they might let him go at one point during the season because it worked out for River Plate. That's my crazy part that I'm talking. Yeah.
How did it get so bad?
I got the idea. I got an idea. He thought that bringing the old crew that won the Copa Libertadores from 2018, the 3-4 players that he brought back. We're not in that year anymore. We're 7 years older now. 7 years older. All right, things change, and your body change, and the years are coming, and you don't have the same touch. The velocity is not there. The way that you read the game is not there. And he thought he got it, figured it out. He thought so, and then when he realized that he didn't have it, it was too late. It was too late. That's what happened. That's what happened. And then he was playing Acuna and Brucey and all the names that they're thrown in now because he got a structure all set up since the last time that he played with River, that he coached River. But things changed a lot, man. So that was the issue. And now how they approach the season, because there's enormous pressure. Now, there's always pressure on River and Boca Juniors, always. But now you have the pressure that you haven't won after all spent. It happened before with Gallardo, because when he created it, when he managed the teams, he managed young talent, he managed additional players, he didn't manage a market. He had a carte blanche to go. Hey, you know what? Just put on my tab, right? Give me another player, put on my tab. And then he realized the tap was my God, 60 mil, man. This is a big tap, man, for me. And he didn't have that. When you have that much freedom, you lose focus. So that's what happened with That's my take.
So then, as you enjoy your morning coffee, what other teams are on the flip side of this that are the teams that we're not really paying attention to that are on the rise that we need to be paying attention to going into 26?
I don't want to say on the rise, but because of the addition of the signings and because of they keeping the same structure of players, almost a group, the same, almost identical players, and that with same core players are playing for the third straight season. Yeah, third straight season for Peñarol. And they just signed Sebastian Briggs, and they just signed Hernandez, who scored, by the way, 26 goals in 34 games last year. The back. And they brought back and they hire also, who, by the way, how did we let him go? How did we? Please, do me a favor. Check out, go up a score and put up Sebastian Brito's stats, please. And let me know how many goals did he allow for Universidad de Deportes last year. Before, my God, I don't understand still how they, I don't know. I really don't know, because they're the best goalie in the league. But no, because you got the best in the league. That's why he didn't have too much to work. And no. All right. I mean, when you look at the numbers, when you look at his stats, it's remarkable. The guy didn't even allow more than 12 goals last year. More than 12. Is it too much, Johnny? How many did he concede?
Hang on, I'm a digging. Okay, so we need stat. By the way, it's his 38th birthday today.
Also.
So happy birthday to you. All right. So in all comps last season, all comps, Clausura, Libertadores, Apertura.
Me 20.
So it was in 40 matches in 2025. He gave up 31 goals. So that's a goals against of about 0.77.
There you go. Tell me that's a bad number.
No, that is not a bad number. The year before that, 2024, all comps, Clausura, Apertura, Libertadores, 33 matches and 22 goals conceded. So that's a goals against a 0.67.
Yeah. Less than one goal per game. Less than one goal. What kind of goal do you let it go like that? What kind of goal do you let it go like that? And it was crazy at the end, because all these the administration wanted to bring back, and they brought him back. Diego Ramiro, who, by the way, played 2 games here. 2 games. So no, but he didn't have a chance. He's a man of our house. He's an academy. La la la. We bring him back. Okay, I get it. But you still need your one goalie and your backup. You need a number one goalie and a backup. You don't bring them just to be the number one, just because, who knows. But anyway, that was I tell you the story, but we were talking about Peñarol. I think Peñarol is gonna go deep also this year in the Copa Libertadores. I think they have a debt. They have a serious debt with the fans, because man, this is the first champions of the Copa. This team has 5 Copa Libertadores, but the last one was in 1987. 1987, the last time that Peñarol won the All Libertadores with and it's crazy, right? The last 2 champions for European teams were 87 and 88. Peñarol won 87 and Nacional won 88. And since then, the curse for Uruguayan football. No Copa for you.
34 clean sheets at Universitario in 73 matches. And,
How many
goals
matches?
73 matches total over the 2 seasons. 34 clean sheets. 53
Almost
goals
half the
allowed.
games he got clean sheets, man. Half of the game. And you're telling me that you're gonna let that go? Oh, God. That's the only mistake this season in the transfer market.
And a goals against of .714 in those 73 matches over 2 seasons.
You explain that to me. How's that possible, Johnny? What would just tell me in your right mind? And what would you do that?
Dude, you got me. I'm like,
what's the case against this? What's the case? I mean, there's a case with national slots, but whatever, because 2 players that are going to be Peruvian citizens this year. So that's not the point. What was the point? The only thing that I can think of is the technical director didn't like him. For why you didn't like him, I don't know. No idea.
I mean, Sebastian Britos, happy birthday to you at the age of 38, and it's just, I am.
The only thing I'm asking to the soccer gods, Johnny, is that we don't get to face Peñarol in the Copa. That's all I'm asking. Because that's all I'm asking. I think it's going to happen because we're in the same pot. We're in pot 3, so yeah, we're not going to be in the same. Most likely.
Oh,
we don't know. You know, destiny is crazy sometimes. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if his salary point was too big. I don't know if it's a sporting director that wants to sit there and go, no, I don't need somebody, your status. I need to be the guy in control. So definitely do not go up against Peñarol in the tournament. All right. Next week, you're going to give me the other over 40. And
yes, but I got something for you this week.
Okay. Yeah.
I got something for you this week. That is, we want to start this. We're going to start the first show of the year because this is the year of the World Cup. Every week, Nino Torres will bring you. Nino Damos will bring you up from the World Cup, from any World Cup. Any story? I got an interesting story. This one for you, Johnny, to kick off the year.
All right, hit me.
You know Adidas, right? You know Adidas, the brand, right? Yeah, soccer cleats. All right. There's a before and after 1954 that where Adidas is involved on this matter. So Hungary reached the finals. They were crushing people, 7-6, people, 450,000 goals scored in that World Cup. I mean, they were so good with Puskas, with coaches, they were great. And in the final, they destroyed Germany 8-3. 8-3 in the group stage, right? So they met again in the finals, and the Hungarians were like, all right, we're gonna crush these guys. We're gonna take them down again. Boom, 35 minutes, 2-0 up, Hungary. It was rainy, muddy. The pitch was horrendous, right? It was that we're playing on the trenches in Switzerland. It was crazy, man. Muddy like this, man. You see the pictures, and your feet going all the way down. Anyway, so in the second half, Germany comes back. Helmut Rahn scores a brace. Walter gets the goal too, and they turn the game around 3-2. During halftime, brother. That happened during halftime. Adidas got these new cleats for rainy days. What do you call those high things? Because under the cleat, I don't know how to tell them.
Like the
They
the
changed
long studs, yeah, like the
the studs. You got the studs.
yeah.
You got the long studs. So they changed the cleats for the second half.
Well,
And Hungarians were falling, sliding. You know, hey, where are you going? I'm right here, brother. I'm right here. I got the ball. Uh, the German players were in the second half because of those. Not only because of the cleats. I mean, Germany has that team, but they made the difference. You know, the cleats made the difference, and that's when the ADS comes to play in the history of the World Cup in 1954, when Germany wins the World Cup because of the new cleats. You didn't got
And
that
now,
one, huh?
no, and now you know the rest of the story. Okay, walk outside for me. Show me the neighborhood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh,
We got it. We got to see.
yeah, man.
We got to see what it looks like there as
Yeah.
you are building the bakery, man.
There you go.
Oh wow, nice.
Starting.
Love
Yeah, and
that.
this is Loche Bodega.
Nice,
Bodega.
fantastic.
And these are the with the Nino Damos pastries that are going.
Oh, Nino Damas Pastries, Nino the baker on the Instagrams. That looks fantastic. I look forward to our World Cup Chronicles all season long. I look forward to Nino Damas busting down what he's thinking about what's going on in and around the world of soccer. Just know that, as always, we love you very much, and we will catch up with you back normal time, 10 o'clock Thursday. So as much as we enjoy seeing what's going on there with Nino Damas and the baking with all the chocolate that makes us all jealous, just have a great weekend, my friend. We love you very much, and we'll catch up with you next week. It's fantastic. I love it.
And thank you, Johnny. We'll see you next week.
All right, there goes Nino Damas. Nino Damas from a bakery in Lima, Peru. How many people can bring you soccer insights from a bakery in Lima, Peru? I believe the answer to that is one. This one. And we love it. Fantastic. So that's always great to see when it comes to Nino. And yeah, so follow him on Instagram at Nino the Baker. There's a lot of chocolate. There's a lot of dessert. And it's fun to see the creative process with this. I didn't know until he mentioned it. I didn't know that this was this other life of Nino Torres. But no, it's he's making me incredibly hungry. A, incredibly jealous. B, and it's just that looked like they were in a great neighborhood, and the fact that the size of those things. I mean, they look like wheels on like like the big wheels that we were driving as kids. They looked like they were that size. The back, not the front wheel of the big wheel, but the back wheel of the big wheel. That's how big those desserts looked. So that was good stuff with our buddy Nino Torres, and obviously we're going to have him talking about anything and everything that is going on in and around the planet, whatever sticks in his mind. So he's going to bring the over 40 club next week, and maybe we'll see if he brings the under 20 club as well, and might be under 18s. Yeah, we'll find out what's on his mind when it comes to the world of soccer, what he's observing, what's going on with anything and everything involving beautiful game and our buddy Nino Torres. So that was an interesting location. The Nino being in Lima is interesting, but the fact that he was doing a segment in a bakery that gives Nino Damas's chocolate baked goods the chance to be introduced to the planet. That was unique. But that's the beauty of what we do here at SDH AM. Okay, Niko Moreno coming in a couple of minutes. We'll go over what's going on because, like I said, there is news. There are news. There is news. There reports. Let's put it that way. There are reports about folks and intriguing folks, and yes, most of them are attached to Messi and friends. We do have news out of Seattle, and we do have a lot of other stuff that's going on the move. So we'll find out what. Yeah, and it's in the 70s. So Abby does the quick weather look. It's in the 70s in Lima. Nothing like being in the 70s, 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 70s. Oh, Ken Hoadley, good morning. Question about Gabon. How much influence does the Gabonese government have on their national team? Curious. Like, how much do they spend on them, I should say. So Ken is wondering about the economics of the Gabonese government and the national team. Let's see if we can workshop this really quickly. Gabonese investment, national team soccer. How about that? Let's do that as a search and see if there's any actual numbers. Suspending of the national team, sacking the national team. Obviously, that's let's see. All right. So if we do this, it's a really cool logo, by the way. Las Panteras, the Panthers. It's a very cool logo. Kit sponsor. Okay, team image. Team image, Puma since 24. 2020s. Let's see. All right. So 2010s is just talking about wins and losses, kit sponsorships, records, goal scorers, competition records, honors, regional references, and links. So, and like I said, I'm going from our friends at the Wikipedias first and foremost. And we'll see if let's see if there's anything. Okay, so they've won the CMAC, they've won the UDEAC, World Football Ratings, member associations, games of the 19th Olympiad and the 20th Olympiad. And were suspended in Chan 2020. All right, well, the Wikipedias aren't much of a help this morning. So, suspending of the Gabonese, suspending of Aubameyang, players being booted out. Let's see. So, suspending the national team. Suspending more of the national team. It's all about suspensions. It's not, they don't give the budgetary investments, and that's what I was hoping that we would see when it comes to okay, so the Gabonese Football Federation. So let's see if we can. All right, so I'm clicking on the FIFA website, and I'm seeing if they, meaning the FIFA, will give us any kind of breakdown. Okay, so funds overview. Okay, so the overview. All right, so funds overview, committed funds and remaining funds. Okay, so all right, so this is according to. Okay, so here, but it doesn't say where it comes from though. So here's the level of investment, although it doesn't say where it's from. Entitlements in the funds overview, operational costs are just under 52%. 12.7% for travel and equipment and 35.7% in projects. So that is the overview. Committed funds, 48% to operational costs, 13.5% for travel, 38% for projects. Remaining funds are all to operational costs, or maybe there are no funds left. Infrastructure, 10%. So it's like $7 million in infrastructure, 90.4% of committed funds. So $6.5 million is 90%. So if you add another $655,000, you're talking $7.2 million in infrastructure a year. Other projects. Okay, so totally across the board, it's like $7.2 million US. 90% to infrastructure, $593,000 to other projects, and $100,000 for competitions. I don't know if that's internal or external. So completed infrastructure, 3.4% of committed funds. Seriously? Maybe it's because we're January 2nd and it rolled over then. But literally, I'm looking at the completed funds breakdown, and it is literally 8.2% has been completed. The funds for 8.2% of the projects have been completed. 3.5% in infrastructure at $244,000. Same for other projects and $100,000 in competitions. So then that would mean that ongoing would be right. The $6.3 million, which is 87% of committed funds. Other projects for infrastructure at $6.3 million. Other projects at $348,550. So 6.6, well, it's like $6,660,000. So project funding breakdown. Most of it going to infrastructure. Ongoing, it looks like it's a little over $6.3 million. But the one thing, Ken, I don't know, and it's not listed, that you end up with who is paying for what. Gianni Infantino congratulated the Gabonese Football Federation back in September on recent progress. Meeting with President Mungwengi taking place in Morocco. Qualifying campaign, FIFA forward funding has helped spur Gabon's recent improvement. So I'm guessing that a lot of it comes from FIFA forward. Offered support and congratulations back in September. Two leaders met in Rabat, Morocco, less than a month before Gabon would face the two matches for World Cup qualification. And the FIFA stuff continues. Let's see. Football in Gabon turned a corner in 2012. U23 competed for the Olympics. Denny Bouanga gets a mention. Okay. So this is all FIFA forward funds, it looks like, because in the September article, improvement coincides with FIFA's sustained commitment to further develop football in Gabon, throughout Africa and across the world. More than USD $6 million. So $6 million of that 7.1 that we were talking about, it's coming from FIFA forward funds. Committed to Gabon's football infrastructure, including the construction of 4 technical centers that will be used as headquarters for regional leagues. President Mungwengi said after the meeting, he and President Infantino talked about funding additional improvements in Gabon. We discussed the new project to build a football academy in Gabon with the FIFA president. This flagship project is particularly close to our hearts, as it will enable us to accommodate our young players of both genders in this sports and studies complex. According to Mungwengi, he continued, but there was also the project to build football stadiums throughout the country. So of the $7.2 million, more than 6 of that came from the FIFA forward funds and that particular budget. So Gabon is not investing internal dollars toward the football team, but they feel compelled to sit there and blow all of them up. So football forward, for those that may not know, FIFA calls it one of the most prominent sports development programs, a 360-degree tailor-made support for football development in each of our member associations and 6 confederations. FIFA Forward 3.0 launched in 23. More comprehensive funding and support of football development projects across the world than ever before. More about the program. So we ask FIFA, what is this about FIFA Forward 3.0? As you are trying to grow the game. So the program overview: increased investment in football development, impact through the achievement of development objectives, continued oversight. That's rather nebulous and vague. So the 4-year cycle, up to $5 million U.S. for each member association to cover operational costs in relation to football activities. Up to $5 million. $3 million for each member association to execute well-planned specific football projects that contribute to the achievement of long-term football development objectives. Up to $1.2 million for member associations identified as needing the most assistance. Up to US $1.2 each to cover the costs of travel and accommodations for their national teams as well as football equipment. $60 million US for each confederation to develop, promote, and organize football within the regions of its member associations. So $60 million to the Fed. So CAF would get $60 million, and then they could do whatever they want with it. Up to $5 million US for each zonal and regional association to organize regional football competitions for men, women, and youth. contract of agreed objectives finalized through Forward 3.0. And then we have the regulations. Let's click on the regulations, shall we? March 25, there's a preamble, I don't care. Wow, this is a long document. It's a 47-page document. Okay. Objectives, beneficiaries, duties of FIFA, financial and non-financial support, procedure for financial support, payments. Let's go to payments. That's on page 32. So if we go to page 32, shall be made in accordance with the conditions established with the regulations, exceptions not provided for in the current, may be made only when the exception can be justified. Now, specific projects, we talked about those numbers. 3.0 funds from the entitlement of the member associations, as the case may be, therefore not committed to specific projects. If a confederation does not use the entirety of the Forward 3.0 funds, remaining balance shall be kept in the dedicated Forward bank account until they are completely used up. If a confederation does not release the entirety of the Forward 3.0 funds it's already received, and remaining balance shall be kept in dedicated Forward. Okay, so taxes, dues, fees, expenses. FIFA is entitled to deduct the amount owed to FIFA by a member association or confed for any amount allocated under the Forward program for any reason. So basically, they can give you money, but they can pull it back. They can pull it however they want and pool it however they want. Obligations, you've got to fully comply, collaborate, general secretary, respect the schedule. Separate bank account in its own name, all the payments to the Forward program directly to the Forward bank account. Avoid using cash in transactions using Forward program funds. So yeah, don't use cash. Let's see, beneficiaries, rights, duties, financial, non-financial support, fees and expenses, audit reviews, jurisdictions, annexes, adoption and period of validity. So yeah, it's a 47-page document, basically the how-tos of the 3.0 program. And I guess the key numbers when it comes to the overview in and of itself, up to $5 million for each association to cover costs, $3 million for each member association to execute the projects, up to 1.2 that need the most assistance. So you're maxing at 9.2. Then $60 million for each confederation, and they can distribute that however they want. And then up to 5 for regional competitions. So really the first 2 or 3 are the ones that we need to pay attention to here. Up to $5 million for covering operational costs, $3 million to execute projects, up to 1.2 for needing the most assistance. So you're looking at a maximum of $9.2 million per association coming from FIFA. So, Ken, in a long roundabout way to answer your question, the answer is not a lot. How much influence does the Gabonese government have on their national team? Meaning money that they spend? Probably zero. Unless the government conflates itself with the national team and the interactions with FIFA. So that would be my guess in this. That it would be up to 9.2, and I'm sure that some aspect of the Gabonese government keeps an eye on the particular project, or at least they sit there and they view it as, okay, all this money is coming into Program Forward or Match Forward 3.0. So you're probably in some manner, way, shape, or form, the government probably conflates itself with the sporting activities in the country. So I would think that the government views itself as the arm that chooses or interacts or oversees the process. So the government probably doesn't give any money, but they probably view themselves as the overseer of the Forward program funds and probably appoint and what have you. So directly, they don't give no dollars. Doesn't look that way, at least in Gabon's case. but they probably do think of themselves as corporate overseer. And it's like, well, these $9.2 million came into this country on something that we ourselves created, meaning the National Federation. So therefore, it's probably some transitive property in there somewhere. So up to 9.2, looked like it was 7.2 from the money that we saw from the FIFA website. And so we'll see what it looks like there. So that's my guess, Ken. That was kind of a roundabout way of saying in a world, probably not, but in the world, they probably think themselves as such. So they probably interact with the athletic arm and all that kind of stuff. So that would be my guess. So, and yeah, 51 degrees. Great. And the drilling, 70s in Lehman, 51 here. Yeah, and the drilling apparently has stopped. And I thought I heard the garage door close. So maybe we're getting close to having a garage door. I'm guessing that because it's Friday, that Niko probably somewhat overslept or probably did not hit his alarm. Crystal Palace, as of 8 minutes ago, officially has put out the word that they have signed Brennan Johnson. So they do have imagery. 24-year-old Wales international pen to paper 4.5-year deal and is going to wear the number 11. Club record deal. So Steve Parrish, quote, delighted. We feel that he's the perfect place. So it's 2 sentences from Steve Parrish, 2 sentences from Oliver Glasner. Second sentence, Brennan will give us options in our attacking play with his pace and goal-scoring ability, and with all the upcoming games, he'll be a valuable addition to the squad. Brennan Johnson, 2 sentences, ending with, I'm super excited. So Brennan Johnson officially in as the new big signing for our friends at Crystal Palace. Toronto FC, oh, we better hit this. So hang on. Let me get there. Because, yep, we gotta talk about this one. Toronto FC has acquired Walker Zimmerman. Happy January. Toronto FC announces that the club has acquired Walker Zimmerman through the 27-28 season. So it's a 2-year deal with Walker Zimmerman. 2-time MLS Defender of the Year added to the club's roster pending the receipt of his ITC, work permit, and medicals. GM Jason Hernandez says, as free agency approached this offseason, Walker's name was at the top of our list, given his pedigree both on the pitch and in the locker room. Player of his stature provides us with quality, experience, and a track record of delivering defensive results in MLS beyond his on-field performance. His leadership, intensity, and professionalism instrumental in our ongoing efforts to build a winning culture at our club. He's been a difference maker at every place he's played. Excited to begin this journey together. 6 seasons with Nashville, 172 matches, 16 plus 7 in all comps. Quote from Zimmerman is there. And LAFC 18-20, professional career at FC Dallas, U.S. men's national team. So the 6'3", 196-pounder at the age of 32 has a 2-year deal in Toronto. Big news for Toronto FC. So Toronto adds to the back, and they bring in Walker Zimmerman. So that is an interesting pull. It had been a very, very quiet off-season for Toronto, by the way. Toronto themselves hadn't signed anybody. Maxime Dominguez, gone. Nathaniel Edwards, gone. Derek Etienne Jr., gone. Sean Johnson, gone. Kevin Long, gone. Hugo Mbonge, gone. Raul Petretta, gone. Sigur Rosted, gone. Charlie Sharp, gone. Walker Zimmerman now in. Interesting. Walker Zimmerman, interesting that he is added to that back line for Toronto FC. On Wednesday, Josh Cohen goes to Chicago Fire. Ethan Kohler, we mentioned him coming in from Werder Bremen to go and be with the Revs. And Warren Madrigal from Saprissa to Nashville SC. So Walker Zimmerman to Toronto. Warren Madrigal in. Does this lend itself to the Sam Surridge discussions that we've been having recently? Interesting. So you bring in Warren Madrigal. Sam Surridge is being talked about as a pickup for Wolves as they want to try and let Jurgen Strand-Larsen go and here in the January window. So is the Madrigal pickup insurance if Wolves comes at you with a stupid figure to go ahead and send him on his way? Speaking of being sent on their way, one of the other players that we've been kind of keeping an eye on who has been discussing things one way or the other is Kai Wagner. And it looks like Kai Wagner might be heading to Birmingham City. So you have Kai Wagner close to a deal. Florian Plettenberg at Sky Germany. Already in England as of yesterday, set to make the switch for a 2.3 million euro release clause. And obviously, when you're discussing anything involving Birmingham City, their number one rub is, yeah, we want to get to the Premier League. As of right now, that's going to be a bit of a tall order. They are, and once again, and I will stipulate that once again, the championship being as crazy as it is, it's going to be a slog for Birmingham City. Right now, as we're talking, Birmingham City is 17th, but they're 9 points away from the 6, which is what you're looking for in the EFL Championship. You want to get to the 6 so you can be in a part of that promotion playoff. 1 and 2 go in, 3, 4, 5, and 6 fight it out. You're looking to get to that 6 slot. Preston North End right now, 40 points, plus 9 in goal difference. Birmingham City has to make up 9 points. They have not won in their last 5. And they lost last time out to Watford, 25 matches, 31 points. Literally, they're a good week away from being in 9th. They win twice. But just to give you an idea, Coventry City right now with Frank Lampard, far and away top, number 1. John Nason is a pleased man. Ipswich has gone on a 4-game run, 4-game unbeaten run there in 2nd. So if the season ended today, those two would be promoted. Middlesbrough, Watford, Hull, and Preston North End would be your 3, 4, 5, and 6, 43, 41, 41, and 40. Well ahead of Millwall in goal difference at 40 points. Bristol City at 39, Stoke and Wrexham at 37. Wrexham 2 goals behind Stoke. They've won 3 in a row to get to 37 points. Derby at 35, QPR at 35, Leicester at 34. They've lost 3 of 4. Now people are freaking out and debating a coaching change there as well. Southampton at 33, Sheffield United at 32, along with Swansea City. Sheffield United is also at that 32 points with a difference of points being pulled away from them by the league. Birmingham at 31, ahead of West Brom. Charlton at 28, Blackburn at 27, Portsmouth at 25. Norwich is in trouble, but they've got a decent run of form as of late, considering where they started. Norwich at 24 points, Oxford United at 22. They've already fired their manager. They've lost 4 of 5. Sheffield Wednesday already at -7. New owners on their way in. And they're at -7 points. They are 32 points away from safety. But once again, we look at the league table just as a reminder of how your spending habits in the Premier League affect how you grow or don't in the championship. If we go to 13th, Leicester, Southampton, Sheffield United, Swansea, West Brom, Blackburn, Norwich, 7 teams in the bottom half have been in the Premier League in the last decade. And it looks like Sheffield and possibly Norwich would be relegated to League One. It's kind of where you are right now in the championship. It's a street fight, and it's going to be that way all season long. But that's the task you take. You overspend to try to stay in the Prem, and then your task is, okay, do we calm down, regroup, use the parachute payments to help us out, and be measured in our approach? But 10 times out of 9, it ends up with an owner that overspends and overspends and overspends. Just ask Jess Charman about Reading. And you make it worse and worse and worse, and you violate profit and sustainability rules, and you end up with points penalties, and you end up being relegated to League One, if not League Two. So it is rare to see owners calm down after being demoted or relegated from the Premier League down to League One. Half of the teams in the lower half of the table have Premier League experience. 7 of the 12 from 13 to 24. And they've yet to work their way back. Another couple of things before we get out of here that I wanted to discuss. We mentioned Gabon. We mentioned Maresca and Chelsea. I want to get into MLS here for a second. It appears, according to our friends at Verde All Day, that it might be somebody else other than Messi and friends chasing after players on loan. And it ends up with the possibility of Tadeo Allende being looked at for a pickup by Austin. That came across in our Verde All Day email chains. And so Allende looks like it might be, there might be some competition for Allende and his services. So it's interesting. You see that Austin is spending all of this money. Cascante, Farcarlin, Diego Rubio, Stefan Cleveland traded to Kansas City. Osman Bukhari transferred to Widzew Łódź in Poland. You bring in, you sign Irvin Torres to a homegrown. You bring in John Bell as a free agent. You bring in Jaden Nelson in a trade. You trade for Joseph Rosales, and you're apparently chasing after Tadeo Allende. The loan at Celta de Vigo is up. And so now it appears that, according to our friends at Verde Nation and Shogo, Allende was not present for Celta de Vigo's second training session of the year. Celta de Vigo's head coach Claudio Giraldez says, quote, "There isn't a purely sporting decision in this case or in any cases tied to other things, to the players' feelings, to numbers, to moments. Tadeo has had a brilliant loan in terms of football. Obviously," and here we go with this. Obviously, MLS isn't the league closest to La Liga in terms of the physical demands we would have liked, but he's had a ton of minutes at Inter Miami. Another manager throwing ish on top of Major League Soccer. Quote, "We've spoken with him so that he can have a few more days of vacation to also try to see what we're going to do. What is the best solution for all parties?" So keep an eye, as I think it was a $6 million loan. Celta de Vigo obviously has the rights. Seems to Austin and Miami are in the race for Allende, and so doesn't travel to Vigo with Celta's permission, awaiting the sale. And this is coming from a bunch of other places. So we've seen River Plate. We've seen the video now with Nshogo this morning. Allende wasn't present. He had to return today, but his permission was extended to stay away. So looks like it was a $6 million price tag. So keep an eye on Austin in this. Austin chasing after Tadeo Allende just to get more scoring up front. Intrigued. Also, in addition to, and you can take this either in part or the sum of the parts, it also appears that it looks like Well, now Pascal Gross official. That might be, yeah, so that was 5 minutes ago. So Pascal Gross is returning to Albion from Borussia Dortmund. So you have West Brom and Borussia Dortmund, Pascal Gross until June of 27. So that is now officially official as well. But there is a new name on the board for Messi and friends, and it's Matko Miljevic. And I found that to be kind of interesting, where Matko Miljevic is now part of the discussions, with Cesar Luis Merlo reporting that with Miljevic at Huracan, no formal offer yet. Rossing offered $2.8 million for 80% of the pass, but for Globo, but for Huracan, it was insufficient, is the word. So keep an eye on Matko Miljevic, Huracan. So it's Huracan and Matko Miljevic, Messi and friends, and Rossing. So that is so that's the latest there. So if they lose out on Allende, they could be picking up Matko Miljevic for maybe half the price or slightly more than half. So keep an eye on Miljevic as a part of everything there. Oh, Verde City Limits was where it was initially. So Allende and Verde City Limits and Cesar Luis Merlo with Matko Miljevic, keeping an eye on all of those. Okay, let me see if our friend Ben Jacobs has. So Brighton confirms that Gross has returned to the club from Borussia Dortmund on a contract, 2027, fee of around €1.5 million. So Brighton confirmed that he's back. So there you go. All right. So let's see if there's anybody else on the board. MLS and Adidas have unveiled the 2026 official match ball. That has been out that is now officially out this morning. Mentioned Brennan Johnson. Brighton have recalled Yoon Do-young from his loan at Excelsior. So we've got that to keep an eye on as well. I think that does it for all of your transfers and transactions. Thanks to Nino for dropping by this morning for a fully loaded Friday on a holiday weekend. Now, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Let's get you into the rest of that for today, and we will plow through, and then we will hope that you will have a fantastic weekend. Back at it again on Monday, and we will break it all down for you there. Now, soccer on the tube. Once again, brought to us by our friends at Fanati's. FNTZ.co/soccer down here. Once again, remember, that link is important. Helps them, helps us, helps you by adding more matches to everything you're already watching. With Fanati's, you get BN, home of AFCON, TESE, matches from Argentina, more leagues across South America, all in one place. One subscription, one home. FNTZ.co/soccer down here. So, soccer on TV today. BN en Español, where you can watch Ligue 1 on Fanati's. Toulouse and Lens at 2:45. BN en Español simulcasting. La Liga at 3 o'clock on ESPN Deportes, Rayo Vallecano, and Getafe. Thank you, Abby. Have a fabulous Friday and a great weekend, too. ESPN Plus A-League very early this morning. La Liga this afternoon. Paramount Plus Cagliari and Milan at 2:45. Saturday, doubleheader in AFCON, 11-2 on BN and BN en Español. Scottish Premiership doubleheader starts with Celtic and Rangers at 7:30, then Dundee United and Dundee. So it's a rivalry. It is a derby day of massive proportions. Scottish Premiership, 7:30 and 10, CBS Sports Network. Bournemouth and Arsenal on NBC, big NBC. Wolves and West Ham on NBCSN. USA has doubleheader, Villa Forest, Brighton, and Burnley. BN en Español simulcasting AFCON. ESPN Deportes, triple header, La Liga, 8, 10, 15, and 12:30. Fox Deportes, Serie A triple header, 6:39 a.m. and 2:45. The league we neither condone, endorse, nor promote is sandwiched in between game 2 and 3. Universo has Bournemouth and Arsenal. Golasso, quadruple header, or format. Oh, actually, Golasso has 4 matches, back-to-back Serie A quadruple header. ESPN Plus has A-League, La Liga, and La Liga 2. Big Fox O&E, triple header Serie A, and the league we don't talk about at 12:30. NBCSports.com, 7:30 and 10. Paramount Plus, they have 5 matches available in Serie A and the 2 matches in the Scottish Premiership. Peacock, Wolves, West Ham, Bournemouth, Arsenal. Women, it's the A-League in Australia at 3:40 and 5 o'clock in the morning. That gets you to Sunday. So it's AFCON on beIN, Serie A, and the championship with Wrexham on CBS Sports Network at 10. Premier League on NBCSN, Premier League on USA, beIN Espanol simulcasting, ESPN Deportes, quadruple header, La Liga. FOX Deportes, Serie A, 6:30 in the morning. Telemundo, that's Fulham and Liverpool. Golazo, doubleheader English Championship, doubleheader Serie A to follow. ESPN Plus, A-League, La Liga, and on the Roots, you'll find out about a crazy moment in the A-League that has gone to legal discussions. La Liga, 5 matches available in La Liga on ESPN Plus, 1 in La Liga 2, Deportivo La Coruña and Cádiz. Big Fox O&E Serie A early in the morning. NBCSports.com, Premier League. Paramount Plus, 4 matches Serie A, 6 matches available in the English Championship, including Birmingham City Coventry at 7, Wrexham at 10, and Norwich and Stoke at 10. Mexican Liga MX Femenil is at noon on Fox Deportes. A-League women's action is on ESPN Plus. Fox O&E has Mexican Liga MX Femenil at noon as well, and that gets you through your weekend. Whew. Okay, so all the transfers, all the things. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe, everybody, please. And then that way we can come back on Monday. We can break it all down once again with Abe and Bart, find out what's going on in their minds, and we'll follow with all of the transfers and everything going on in and around bowl games and everything else that's going on. So we'll talk about it all on Monday. Thanks for making the second abbreviated week in a row the fantastic week that it is. Can't thank all of you enough for being a part of SDH AM as we are heading the end of this month. We start year 9, I believe. I think it's year 9. We start our 9th year. It's our 8th calendar year, but it's our 9th season of SDH and coming your way toward the end of the month. And we can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us as you always do, especially here on SDH AM. And maybe by Monday I'll be over my cold. So we always got that to look forward to as well. I'm going to go check on a new garage door. Can't thank all of you enough for hanging around as you always do. And since it is a Friday, there's only one way to end a Friday, and we're going to end it this way. Mucha Platiel, play it safe. We'll catch back up with you on Monday. And we also have some content on the weekend, too. So keep an ear out for all that stuff. Mucha Platiel, play it safe. We'll see you later.
The war was on. The keys on the typewriter had sharp points that kept sticking into our fingers. The dictating equipment started asking us questions, and our beepers sent electric shocks just through our body like a cattle prod. Out in the warehouse, the trucks kept banging into the docks, not even thinking about stopping. Oh, our frail bodies were strapped to the chairs, and our chairs were chained to the desks. Our pleas for justice were ignored, and the end seemed near. But we busted our slave drivers' little bitty balls. We've charged out of their brick fortress. The streets are